to echo with 1,000 voices. My father's laugh, my mother's song, the sound of silver on crystal glass. Now only I remain, and the dust. Portraits hang in faded gold, their eyes still proud, their faces cold. They stare at me as if to say, what have you done with all we gave? The velvet chairs are worn to thread, the chandeliers have long since bled their final light into the dark, and left me here with just their mark. I was a boy who ran these floors, who swore to hold these ancient doors, who promised names I cannot keep, who made vows even stones now weep. But I will not bow, I will not break, though fortune leaves and candles fade. The last son of a fading name still stands beneath the light I made. I will not sell what cannot be bought, I will not lose what blood has wrought. Though every wall around me falls, my father's voice still fills these halls. Creditors come knocking loud, they circle me like hungry crowd. They see the stone, they see the land, but never what slips through my hand. I sold the silver, sold the wine, I sold the portraits, sold the pine, and still the debt grows tall as night, and still I fight, I fight, I fight. I am the last of all their dreams, the thread that holds the broken seams. If I let go, we cease to be not just a name, but history. But I will not bow, I will not break, though fortune leaves and candles fade. The last son of a fading name still stands beneath the light I made. I will not sell what cannot be bought, I will not lose what blood has wrought. Though every wall around me falls, my father's voice still fills these halls. And yet, what pride is there in an empty room? What glory lives inside a gilded tomb? Perhaps the house must fall so I can rise. Perhaps the smoke must clear before I see the skies. Tonight I play the violin alone, and let the music fill this hollow home. The only currency I still possess, a song, a breath, nothing more, nothing less. But I will not bow, I will not break, though fortune leaves and candles fade. The last son of a fading name still stands beneath the light I made. I will not sell what cannot be bought, I will not lose what blood has wrought. Though every wall around me falls, my father's voice
So this is the famous Chateau Morel. Crumbling, yes, but beautiful. The kind of beautiful that money cannot manufacture. Only time creates this, and time I have been denied. My father built his empire brick by brick, from counting coins before the morning light. He taught me every ledger, every trick, to turn a profit, never lose a fight. He gave me gowns and horses, gave me pearls. He gave me tutors, languages and art. He gave me everything a rich man's girl could ever want, except his beating heart. And so I learned to stand apart, to need no one to guard my heart, to smile at every room I enter, and never show I'm at the center. Alone, I've bought the finest things in France. I've walked through every gilded door, yet every room I enter now still feels like something less than more. They say that I have everything, but no one asks what I desire. A heart that beats for something real, not gold, not glory, not empire. I've seen the men who come to call with calculating smiles and empty vows. They see my father's money, nothing more. They'd sooner court the fortune than the house. I've learned to read intentions like a page, to spot the hunger hiding in a bow. I've turned away a dozen men of means, and I would turn 100 more, I know. But here inside these broken walls, I hear no coin, I hear no calls. Just something old and still and honest, something I have never witnessed. None. I've bought the finest things in France. I've walked through every gilded door, yet every room I enter now still feels like something less than more. They say that I have everything, but no one asks what I desire. A heart that beats for something real, not gold, not glory, not empire. What does it mean to want without a price? To reach for something no one's selling twice? My father says the world is bought and sold, but is there something left that won't be told? I walk these dusty corridors tonight, and something in the stone feels almost right, as if this house has kept a secret long, and somewhere in the dark I hear a song. A violin from somewhere deep within, a sound so raw it almost feels like sin, to hear a man pour out his soul this way, unguarded, unperformed, with none to say. Who is playing that? I've bought the finest things in France. I've stood inside 1,000 doors, but I have never stood like this, not knowing what I'm listening for. They say that I have everything, perhaps they never heard that sound. A melody that cost you nothing, music stopped. He hadn't heard me come. We stood there in the corridor, the last of the candlelight between us. He looked at me as if I'd stolen something. Perhaps I had. You were not meant to hear that song. It was a private, dying thing. I play alone when nights grow long, not for an audience, not for anything. These halls are mine until the deed is signed and handed to your name. Until that day I ask you please to leave my silence as it came.
I did not mean to trespass here.
I followed something I had never known, a sound that pulled me strange and clear, a music that felt less like art and more like bone.
I learned to play when I was young, from a teacher old and nearly blind. He said the violin speaks what lips are far too proud or scared to find. He died before he heard me finish, left me half a song to learn. I have been finishing it ever since, in every empty room, at every turn.
What is the song about?
Losing things you didn't know you had,
Until the moment they were gone.
how strange to be discovered in the dark, how strange to feel exposed within my own walls, how strange to hear a sound that leaves a mark, how strange to feel arrived when nothing calls. In the corridor between two worlds, between the silence and the song, two strangers stood and neither moved, and neither knew where they belonged.
My father said that music was a luxury, a pleasant coat for those who've nothing real to do. But what I heard just now inside this corridor was nothing like the concerts he had taken me through.
It wasn't dressed or practiced or performed. It wasn't meant to please or to impress. It sounded like a man who had no armor, a man who let himself be nothing,
More or less. You are not what I expected you to be.
I thought you'd come with ledgers and demands.
I thought you'd measure ceilings, count the doors, and never notice music in these abandoned lands. Will you play again?
Excuse me,
The song, will you finish it?
I'd like to hear the rest.
I never play for anyone.
Then pretend I'm not here.
You make that very difficult.
I don't know why I let the music start again. Perhaps because you asked without a reason why. Perhaps because the night felt less like ending and more like something slowly coming alive. In the corridor between two worlds, between the silence and the song, two strangers stood, and one began to play, and one began to feel that she belonged. The violin sang into the dark,
The candles burned without a word, and somewhere in the ancient stone of Morel, the house itself leaned in and listened and heard. cannot make my fingers do what yours do. They're clumsy, they're impatient, they rush ahead. I think my hands were made for signing papers, not finding beauty in the notes instead. Here, place them so, and let the wrists stay loose. The piano is not conquered, it's approached. You have to ask the music, not demand it. The way you'd speak to someone you don't know, not coached. The keys are not your enemies, Isabelle. They only want the lightest kind of touch. Imagine you are resting on a shoulder, and you don't want to ask for too much. The left hand holds the ground beneath the story. The right hand tells you where the feeling goes. Together they make something more than music. They make the kind of truth that no one shows. And what truth does your music tell, Édouard? That some things are more beautiful for being brief. Place your hands upon the keys, let the music breathe and sway. Even broken things can sing, even autumn turns to May. I will show you what I know, you will show me what you feel, and somewhere in the notes between we'll find something very real. I never learned to let things simply be. My father's world demanded I be strong. But when you sit beside me at this instrument, I find I don't mind being wrong. I find I don't mind starting over slowly. I find I don't mind when the melody breaks, because you never make me feel foolish for it. You simply show me all it ever takes. You learn the way the sunlight learns the morning. You don't force it, you arrive. I have taught piano to a dozen students, but none of them made music feel alive. These evenings by the fire, these lessons in the low lamplight, I never counted on the way they'd make the days feel worth the night. Place your hands upon the keys, let the music breathe and sway. Even broken things can sing, even autumn turns to May. I will show you what I know, you will show me what you feel, and somewhere in the notes between we'll find something very real. I used to think that love was a transaction, something bargained, weighed, and then exchanged. I never thought that it could come this quietly, while I was sitting here, a little lost, a little changed. Forgive me, it's the winter air. Shall we continue? Yes, from the beginning. The candle burns between us on the table. Its light falls soft on ivory and on hand. We play the same small melody for hours, and neither one of us demands it become something more than this? A quiet room, a fire, a song, the night, and yet it has already become everything without us giving it permission, without a fight. Place your hands upon the keys, let the music breathe and sway. Even broken things can sing, even autumn turns to May. I will show you all I have. You have shown me how to feel, and somewhere in the notes between, we found something very real. In the candlelight we found what the daylight could not show, a quiet world for only us, where even winter learned to glow.
He said 6 months, perhaps less. The lungs, he said, the winter hasn't helped. He spoke so calmly, as if he were describing weather. 6 months, and Isabelle is downstairs waiting for her lesson. The doctor spoke in quiet tones as winter knocked upon the glass. He said the time I have remaining falls like sand and fades like ash. He used such careful, gentle words, progressive, rest in time. But I have read between the lines of life enough to know he meant decline. 6 months of candlelight, 6 months of morning cold, 6 months to finish every song I swore that I had left untold. How do I tell her what I know? That all the songs I swore to sing will end before the roses grow. How do I hold her hand tonight and smile as if the world is right? Keys for her when these hands are running out of light. I am 27 years of age. I have not loved, I have not lived. I spent my youth preserving stones and portraits, defending what my family's name had given. And now when something real has found me, now when music fills these hollow halls again, now when her hand rests lightly on the piano, now the doctor comes to speak of when. It isn't fair, it isn't right to find the warmth and lose the light, to hear the music start and know the final bar approaches slow. To have her sit beside me every evening, to teach her every note with steady hand, to watch her face when she begins to feel it, and know that I am living on borrowed land. No, no, I will not rage at empty rooms. That helps no one, least of all her. Perhaps the is the shape of things, a candle that burns bright and brief. Perhaps the ones who love the hardest are always first to come to grief. I should have loved her from a distance, I should have kept my silence well. But God forgive me, I am selfish. I need her here to say farewell. I need to hear her play once more. I need the lesson by the fire. I need one more evening of pretending that tomorrow isn't the wire. How do I tell her what I know? That I am leaving candle-low. That all the songs I swore to sing will end before the roses grow. How do I hold her hand tonight? As if the world could still be right. How do I play the final bar and call it something other than goodbye? I'll tell her when the time is right. Not tonight, not while the fire is bright. Tonight I'll play the song she loves the most and give her something worth holding. When I am gone, when I am gone.
You didn't come to dinner. I waited. Édouard, your hands are cold. Sit with me. There's something I must tell you. I should have told you weeks ago, months ago. Forgive me for being a coward. The doctor came in early November. I should have told you then. I know I should. But every evening you would come with laughter, and I convinced myself that silence was a good. I am not well, Isabelle, the lungs. The winter is not kind to what remains. The doctor speaks in careful calculations, and all of them add up to this refrain. I have one candle left to burn, one song left in these trembling hands, and I have spent them both on you, and I would spend them both again. I have one candle left to burn, one song left in these trembling hands. Forgive me, love, for I must go to places no one understands. I wish that I could promise you the spring, the summer years ahead. Instead I give you winter nights and everything that goes unsaid. No, no, you don't get to decide this quietly. You don't get to confess and then be calm. I am not some passage in your story. I will not be the closing of your psalm. I came here cold, I came here without feeling. I had no room for beauty or for loss. And then you played that violin in the corridor.
gave me back the part of me that listens.
You gave me back the part that wants to feel.
You cannot take yourself away now, Édouard.
You are the only thing that's been completely real.
Then burn it slow, burn it bright.
Let it fill this frozen room. I will hold your hand until the last light swallows all the gloom. I will not leave this room tonight. I will not let this evening end. If time is what you're running from, then let me be the place you spend.
I never asked for saving, Isabelle.
I only asked for someone at the close.
But you gave
More than any ending needed. You gave me more than any dying knows.
This is not the end of us. This is where we become the song.
Every note we played together tells the world that we belonged. Every lesson by the candlelight, every evening, every hymn, every time you laughed and missed the key. I loved you then, I love you still, I love you. Let the orchestra fall quiet. Let the snow outside fall soft. Let this room be just a room again, just two people. And what it cost. Play me something. What shall I play? The one you played the first time when you were still learning. But I made so many mistakes. I know I loved every one of them. The candle burned until the dawn and left me standing in the light. They came and took the violin and locked away his room that night. I signed the papers in the spring. The chateau now bears both our names. I kept the piano by the window and let the sun undo the frames. The servants ask me what I'm playing. I say it's nothing, just a song. A melody a man once taught me. In a corridor I wandered down. The candle burned until the dawn and left me here to hold the light. I play the song he taught my hands each morning and each quiet night. They say that grief is a love with nowhere left to go. So I will play this melody and let it tell him so. He never knew how much I wanted to be clumsy at the keys for good, to always be the student and the stumbling, and never have to get it right if I could. He never knew the way I memorized, the way he paused before he spoke, the way he coughed and turned away to hide it, the way he smiled when the melody broke. I know the notes by heart now, Édouard. My fingers do exactly what yours showed, and yet I keep on making all the old mistakes, because those mistakes were ours, and I won't let them go. The candle burned until the dawn and left me here to hold the light. I play the song he taught my hands each morning and each quiet night. They say that grief is love with nowhere left to go. So I will play this melody and let it tell him so. I bought the house. Did you know I was gonna do that? I don't think you did. But I couldn't let strangers sit in your chair, or play your violin, or walk past that corridor without knowing what happened there. So I kept it all. And every evening when the light falls just right, I imagine you're still here, still playing, still pausing before you speak. The last candle never dies. It lives in every song you play. It lives in every room you enter, and every ordinary day. In every room, in every day. The spring has come back to the chateau. The gardens bloom the way they always do. The roses climb the southern wall again, the ones he said he'd show me when they grew. I walk the corridors each morning, I touch the walls where his hands used to be. I play the piano by the window, and I let the music set us free. The candle burned until the dawn and left me here to hold the light. I play the song he taught my hands. I'll play it every day, I'll play it right. They say that grief is love with nowhere left to go. So I will play and play